Hello, everybody. Welcome to the 5 Minutes PM podcast. This podcast is, I'm trying to answer one email that received with a podcast suggestion asking me how many projects a project manager can handle and manage at the same time. And then to start, I'd like to give you the answer. There is no answer. It's impossible for me to say, oh, it's 3 or it's 10 or it's 1. So let's try to now to explain why there is no answer. In the ideal world, in the perfect world, in the paradise, one project manager should manage one project. This is the heaven. But when I tell you that, you start to think, Ricardo is crazy. What Ricardo is telling me? I have 300 projects here in my company, so Ricardo is asking me to hire 300 project managers. No, the real life is different. So the ideal world, it's one project manager per project. But the real world, it's completely different. But in some ways, I can help you to address this. What will increase the ability of a project manager to handle more than one project? First, similarity. If I have several projects with approximately the same scope, with approximately the same team, with approximately the same geographic distribution, and the same complexity, not extremely high complexity, maybe I can handle them together because the synergy in their scope, I can take parts of one project and help me as an object to another project. But when I have extremely dispersed geographically projects, so I have one project here in Brazil, I have another project in US, another project in Saudi Arabia, and all of them, one is oil, the other is aerospace and defense. It's impossible to have one person handling all of this. Even the best project manager in the planet cannot do that. So what will help people to manage multiple projects is the similarity. So look, let me think about an example in the IT field. Let's suppose that my company develop software for web, okay? And my company use pretty much the same technology. The team is pretty much the same. And the kind of customer, it's okay, it's different, but it's not radically different. Then what I can do, I can maybe have a project manager to manage 5, 6, 7 different projects to help them to deliver the results because the team is the same. So it's like a group, it's like a program on that. But it's impossible to have a project manager managing high complex projects and sharing his or her time with projects completely irrelevant. So we need to understand that sometimes the project value is so high that I will need to have only one project manager, and his cost or her cost, it's pointless. If you are managing a multi-billion-dollar project, you will be completely crazy if you start sharing resources, because the project manager is nothing. The cost of this competence is nothing for the size of the project. But on the other hand, if I have a lot of very small projects, very cheap projects, then maybe I need to have someone sharing this, because otherwise the cost will become my business inviable. So this is what we need to understand. And to finish this podcast, it's very important. We need also to review what is project, because I heard a lot of clients and a lot of people telling, oh, my company has something like 12,000 projects. So there is no company, again, there is no company in the planet that has 12,000 projects. And why I'm telling you that? Because if we go to the definition of project, everything is a project, including recording this podcast. But do you think that I do a project charter, scope statement, WBS to record a 5-minute podcast? No, I'm doing project management, but I'm doing this completely informal in my mind. So the company must understand that project is something that has relevance. Otherwise, the lady or the gentleman that clean our meeting room, they can say, oh, this is a project because today it's different from yesterday, because today they use flip chart, yesterday not. So this is irrelevant in this context. So we need first to understand what is project, and then we need to see if we have some similarities that we can have a project manager that could have the responsibility for sharing projects, for 2, for 3, for 4 projects. So this is the answer that I want that you go home understanding that. But high complex projects, for sure, we need to have only one project manager and one excellent, brilliant project manager. Otherwise, we'll be in the path to the failure. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. See you next week with another 5 Minutes PM podcast.